Good evening. It is so wonderful to be back here at Seton Hall University. I think the first time I was on this campus, I couldn't even walk yet. But this campus has been a very big part of my life and my family, our life together. As you were told, my dad was a professor here for 40 years. But my sister and I both have degrees from Seton Hall. My sister has a doctorate degree, or I'm sorry, a master's degree and also a bachelor's degree that she obtained here. I obtained my law degree here, and we grew up on this campus, and it's so nice to come back. Some of my earliest and best memories are of this campus. I remember coming here in 1970s and 1980s when I was a child, and visiting my dad as he worked, going to the basketball games, and I have a very clear memory of his office. We could watch the baseball games from the window, and I got to see players like Rick Cerone, who went on to play for the Yankees, and it was something that I'll never forget. I remember being in this room when Bill Rafferty was the coach of the basketball team, and probably on this very stage, we'd come to the dinners every year, and Bill would give a speech. And he was as entertaining then as he is now as a commentator on TV. So it was always a wonderful experience to come here. I remember in this very room seeing the amazing Kreskin, who was a Seton Hall graduate and was a student of my father. And I was in high school at the time, and he brought me and my friend up on stage, and we got to be part of the act. And it was quite an evening. So Seton Hall is woven into the fabric of our family. And it was such a big part of my life, my mother's life, and my sister's life. And it's wonderful to be able to stay in touch and to come to an event such as this. Our family's experience with Seton Hall, as you were told, began probably in 1950 when my dad walked on this campus for the first time as a freshman. At that time, he was the oldest of three boys, the first in his family to go to college. He had no money. He had to work evenings at the brewery and pay for his way through college, which he was able to do. And he obtained his degree here from Seton Hall in 1954 before going on to get his PhD. And in 1962, he came back as a professor in the psychology department. And he stayed in that position until he died suddenly in 2001 on the night before commencement. And it was a shock, obviously, to our family and to the entire Seton Hall community, and it was a terrible loss that was felt by everyone at Seton Hall. And we knew we had to do something because my dad loved this university so much. He was here for so long. He put his life into this place, and he loved every minute of it, whether it was going to the basketball games or riding the bus when the fire occurred to counsel some of the students who needed his help. He was here for this university, and he loved it more than anything. And we wanted to be able to continue his legacy at this university. And to do that, we couldn't think of any other way than trying to establish a scholarship for the psychology department. And at that time, there was no other scholarships in the psychology department, and this was the first one. And as a testament to the man that my dad was, and to the people that he affected and the love that they had for him, we were able to raise over $100,000 in a few months to establish the Donald and Lombardi Scholarship. And it's been my great pleasure every year to come down here and meet with Dr. Jeff Levy, who was the chair of the psychology department for, I think, 30 years, and Dean Kaiser, Chris Kaiser. The three of us get to interview the three finalists every year, and it's a day that I really, really look forward to because every year the three students that we interview are just so inspiring, so spectacular, and such a tribute to the work that Seton Hall does. It's really a pleasure, and my dad would be so proud that we are continuing his legacy in this manner. When we started the Lombardi Scholarship, I talked to my mom, and we decided that we didn't want it to just be about academics. We wanted it to be about more than that. And one of the things that was very important to us was that it take into consideration the community service of the applicant, their commitment to their community, their commitment to the Seton Hall community, and what they've done to help others, much like my dad did. Because my dad was more than just a professor of psychology at Seton Hall. He was also had a thriving private practice that he helped so many people as being a part of. He worked at the Essex County Youth House, working with juvenile delinquents and really making a difference in their lives. He did that for 25 years. He was the town psychologist, working with the police department and the fire departments in many of the local communities in Essex County. And he also was the school psychologist for many of the school districts. And in all of these capacities, he really made a difference in people's lives. And one of the things that struck me when he passed was at the wake and the funeral and afterwards, so many people came up to me and told me their stories, how my dad had really affected them, how he had been there for them when they were in their darkest hours, how he had saved their marriages or helped their children when they were really struggling. And it really struck me that we needed to do something to continue that legacy. So it was very important to our family that the scholarship include a consideration of the person's good works, volunteer work, and what they've meant to their community. And these applicants have, all that I've interviewed, have had a solid history of making a difference in their community. And I think that's a tribute to Seton Hall, because I think Seton Hall makes it important that their students be part of the community and be a contributing part that makes a difference in the community. And it's nice that they can go hand in hand. So it's really wonderful that the scholarship has been able to continue and that we've been able to continue my dad's legacy in this manner. Today, when I went into my office, one of my coworkers, who also is a very dear friend, was not at work today. And she wasn't at work today because today was the second anniversary of the passing of her son, who was 21 years old when he succumbed to drugs and addiction. And when that happened 2 years ago, I remember thinking to myself, boy, if my dad was alive, I think he could have made a difference. And today, when I thought about it, my hope is that through the Lombardi Scholarship, the winners of the recipients of the scholarship and the finalists of the scholarship, that these individuals will be encouraged to go out like my dad did into the community, make a difference, and help their fellow man. And maybe, just maybe, they can make a difference and make tragedies such as that less frequent. And I hope that's what happens, and I encourage all of you students to go out, make your way, find success, but never forget what Seton Hall stands for and what you learned here. I encourage all the donors and thank you for contributing to this great institution that is Seton Hall. And I encourage you to be proud of your affiliation with Seton Hall and to never forget the ideals that this great institution and this great university stands for. Thank you.